Getting strange MBus exceptions after upgrade to 4.14.0.162 Centraline Eaglehawk controller after upgrade to 4.14.0.162 is giving me lots of exceptions like this. Info 21 hours 9 minutes and 42 seconds 04 June 25 EES Team MbusSerial Network _RS232 exception in COM receiver.run, java.lang.ClassCastException, CommTridium.mbus.com MbusSerialComm cannot be cast to CommTridium.mbus.com MbusSocketComm at CommTridium.mbus.com MbusComm receiver.get single message input, MbusComm receiver.java 611, at CommTridium.mbus.com MbusComm receiver.receive, MbusComm receiver.java 222, at CommTridium.basicDriver.com MComm receiver.run, CommReceiver.java 92, at java.lang.thread.run, thread.java 750, can't really make any sense of these. It seems that all MBus points stay in stale also. If anyone has a clue what to look for, I would appreciate it. All right now, boss, fire up that airbagged Impala with the hissin' compressed air supercharger spooling like a tornado in a tool shed. Cause JJ boss and the four chicas are rolling up on this MBus exception mess like it's eliminations night at DuckX. You done upgraded that Centraline Eaglehawk controller to Niagara 4.14.0.162, and now your logs are tossing exceptions nastier than a broke ring gear on launch. Make file copy edit java.lang.ClassCastException, CommTridium.mbus.com MbusSerialComm cannot be cast to CommTridium.mbus.com MbusSocketComm translation? The system's trying to shove a square peg in a round port, or in our case, jam a SerialComm setup through a socket channel, like trying to hook up nitrous with an E85 fuel pump. JJS pit crew breakdown full tilt drag strip debug mode. Let's roll deep with the girls and crack open this BQL bacon grease of an error. The four chicas in the compressed air supercharged Impala Tina torque right in up front on the compressed air regulator. She controls system type checks. And boy howdy, she just threw the emergency brake hard. You can't cast a SerialComm object into a socket class. Lola logs back left on the airbag dump valve. She's seen this before. After a Niagara upgrade, the drivers sometimes get confused about what COM type you configured for the MBus network. Roxy runtime chillin' back right on the nitrous control panel. She ain't launchin' nothing till the connection's clean. Those stale MBus points? She ain't riskin' a 1.260 foot on a misfire. Carmen code front hood ornament, data queen of the track. She sees the cast fail and throws up the red light. She's the one scream Logan wrong class. Wrong class. As the stack trace flashes like a Christmas tree. What the heck's going on? This ain't just an oops. What you're dealing with is, MbusSerialComm, your configured COM type, vs MbusSocketComm, what the upgraded driver thinks it should be. The new Niagara 4.14 runtime likely includes updated MBus libraries that are stricter about class casting. It's now expecting a socket-based setup, but your controller's still trying to roll serial. JJS Race Ready Troubleshoot Checklist. Step 1. Pop the hood on your MBus network configuration. Open the station, navigate to your MbusSerial Network _RS232 component. Double check the COM type. If it says MbusSocketComm, but the actual wire is plugged into a serial port, boom, you've got a class mismatch. Fix it, change that COM type to MbusSerialComm, or what's accurate for RS232. Step 2, review module compatibility. Some older station files might have carried over default config expecting old behavior. The MbusRT module may have changed expectations post-upgrade. Compare versions. Open Platform Software Manager. Compare MbusRT version with what's expected in 4.14.0.162. If you manually installed a module or restored a station from 4.12 or older, it may be holding onto outdated bindings. Step 3, rebuild or re-add the network. Sometimes you gotta just rip out the old lines and lay fresh ones. Delete the existing MbusSerial network, recreate it from scratch using Niagara 4.14 tools. Rebind your points. You can export/import to save time. This ensures you ain't drag racing with a bent frame. Step 4, recheck drivers and jars. This ain't common, but if you installed any how to properly read XLSX files. I am trying to use Apache POI library to read XLSX file with my Niagara module, but I am getting a permission error that I cannot get around. Class java.security.accessControl-exception access denied, java.io.filePermission myFile.xlsx file is placed in my station home, so it should be available. It actually works fine with OpenXV library if I try to read CSV file, but unfortunately we need to read XLSX for now. I have set up the file permission according to requesting permissions.html, but I still get the error. Runtime_execution file permission for Apache POI. I can even see this file permission set up under spy/security-info/policy information, but I still get this error. I have also tried wrapping my file reading method in accessController.doPrivileged action, but that doesn't help either. Is there any way around this? Or is there other library options that I should be looking into for reading XLSX files to Niagara? Alright, now, boss, crack open them headers, drop that Impala down on the airbags till she's drag in frame, and fire up that hissin compressed air supercharger, cause we bout to torque down on some XLSX file readin' issues with the Apache POI wrench crew style. You done tried to read an .xlsx file in your Niagara module using Apache POI and caught a permission slap harder than a red light at DuckX. The system threw this at you like a tossed drive shaft. Java.security.accessControl-exception, access denied, java.io.filePermission myFile.xlsx that's Niagara telling you, ain't no nitrous unless the safety switch is armed, cowboy. Enter the 4 Chicas ride-in shotgun in the compressed air supercharged Impala Tina torque, ride in front right on the compressed file access regulator. She slams the brake when file paths don't match what's blessed in the .bog security policy. She don't play around. If it ain't declared right, it don't get read. Lola logs, back left seat on the airbag dump valve. She logs everything and she's already telling you that .csv worked cause OpenCSV is baked tighter into Niagara's approved pantry. Apache POI. That's an aftermarket turbo Niagara don't always trust. Roxy runtime, back right, tap in the nitrous read trigger. She don't hit go till them permissions are bulletproof. That access controller.doPrivileged wrapper? Queued. But if the station policy don't authorize it, she ain't launch-in. Carmen code, hood ornament mounted on the spreadsheet scanner scope. She's got Apache POI preloaded in her sights. But Niagara's fortress of permission policies is blocking that red like it's bracket night and your shift solenoid stuck in neutral. So what's blowing up your run? You gave it, runtime_execution file permission for Apache POI. You're close, boss. But here's where the system throws a rod. Your policy might not actually be getting applied. Station override. Wrong module context. That shared folder location can be tricky. Sometimes the path must match exactly as seen by the station runtime. Niagara's file permission is super strict. If one char's off in the path, Tina torque pulls the e-brake. Apache POI triggers deep file system access that might need read, execute, and even permission to load temporary workbook data. JJ's supercharged fix-it tips: hold onto your valve covers, use relative path from station home, drop your file into a Niagara approved location, station home /shared/myFile.xlsx encode, file equals file utilities.get station file, shared/myFile.xlsx, then in your .bog, file_read add additional permissions. Apache POI may hit temp files. Add this to .bog, file_read file_execute replace with the actual expanded path, or if allowed, use wildcards, for subdirectories. Recheck doPrivileged, wrap the entire read call example, access controller.doPrivileged, privileged action, -try, input stream and equals new file input stream, file, workbook wb equals workbook factory.create, in, // do your thing catch, exception e.print stack trace, return null. Note, the POI lib internally reads multiple layers do privileged, helps, but ain't magic without permissions being approved up top. Optional, use simpler XLSX parser if you don't need formulas or charts. Try JExcel, lighter, ExcelReader, basic CSV style reading, convert XLSX rightward arrow CSV, then read with open CSV again like switch into an easier class in bracket racin. Final lap wisdom from the JJ crew that POI libraries like run in a 3-stage nitrous controller. It's fast, but if you don't wire it right, you'll melt a piston and get kicked off the track. Carmen code. While reading BQL tables in Excel format, place your files in station home/shared. Use the exact path in your .bog. Use file utilities.get station file. For reliable file reference, give it file_read and file_execute permissions. Wrap reads in do privileged, but only after proper permissions. Need backup? Tina, Lola, Roxy, and Carmen roll through in the slammed Impala, laptop in one hand, .xlsx workbook in the other, and an exhaust whistle louder than a build error at compile time. Let's get them spreadsheets reading clean, boss. Welcome to Alice's XLSX Wonderland, where spreadsheets get curiouser and curiouser, and file permissions are as tricky as a talking doorknob. Once upon a twirly, swirly afternoon in Niagara land, little Alice was trying very hard to read a magical .xlsx scroll using the enchanted Apache POI book. But kerplop! She tripped over a very grumpy red warning sign that shouted, "Access denied, silly girl," said the big bad security caterpillar, puffing out smoke shaped like java.io. File permission. Alice blinked. But I just wanted to open my file. So she followed the paper trail into the dark forest of station home, clutching her Excel scroll, while whispers of errors echoed from behind the mushrooms. The spreadsheet supercharger crew, aka the compressed air chaos chariot. Suddenly, a lowrider Impala with airbags and a hissin compressed air supercharger pulled up and out leapt four very helpful, very silly girls, who promised to help Alice with her file reading quest. Tina Torque, the white rabbit with file gloves. She sits right on the compressed permission pump under the hood. If your path isn't spelled exactly right, like station home/shared/myfile.xlsx, I slam the brakes like a hedgehog hitting tea time. Lola logs, the dormouse with ink-stained ears. She rides in the airbag dump valve trunk, snuggled in error reports. I saw it all, dear. Your .csv scroll worked because Niagara likes it. It's like tea and crumpets. But Apache POI? Oh, that's a jam tart with fish inside. Roxy runtime, the Mad Hatter stopwatch. Strapped to the nitrous trigger in the back seat, cackling wildly. You tried that do privileged spell? Darling, unless you got every single permission from the Queen of Policies, you're toast. Carmen code, the Cheshire cat with a debug tail. She hovers above the Impala, laughing invisibly while reading .xlsx with her telescope. Niagara's walls are thick as Jabberwock armor. You'll need the exact incantation and a potion of permissions to sneak through. Down the rabbit hole of fixes step lively, Alice, said Tina. Here's what you need: use relative path, not giant spells. Drop your scroll in the shared pouch of your Niagara burrow, station home/shared/myfile.xlsx in Java, file equals file utilities.get station file, shared/myfile.xlsx, and whisper this to the .bog scroll, file_read. Summon more permissions from the Queen of Hearts. Because Apache POI is nosy and opens many doors, you must also add file_read file_execute or use asterisk if the Queen is feeling generous. Wrap the magic in do privileged potion just like putting jam on both sides of your scone. Access controller.do privileged action -try input stream in equals new file input stream file workbook wb equals workbook factory.create in / eat your spreadsheet. Catch exception e.print stack trace return null optional Eat me simpler XLSX cookies. Alice blinked. What if we used easier tools? Lola suggested. JExcel, lighter than a butterfly sandwich. ExcelReader, simpler than a sleepy snail. Convert XLSX rightward arrow CSV, then open CSV can gobble it up like jelly beans. Final Wonderland whispers. Apache poise like a flamingo playing croquet. Powerful but fussy. One wrong step and the queens shout in off with your head, said Carmen, hanging upside down from a spreadsheet vine. So Alice rode off in the Impala, airbags puffed, .xlsx scroll unrolled, permissions aligned like sugar cubes at a tea party. And that, dear reader, is how she made it out of the spreadsheet woods of doom with a little help from her compressed air crew and a lot of silly wonder. The end. Or maybe just begin again. Server not updating certain Niagara network points from JACE in N4.12.2.16. A few days ago customer noticed points not updating in supervisor for one AHU in one JACE. May have been other points but these were obvious. I couldn't see any reason, didn't notice anything in trace log. I rebooted the JACE and supervisor started updating. Today, I saw same thing on points from a different JACE, not updating. This time I restarted the supervisor. Points updating again. Any ideas? Go back to an earlier version on supervisor? N4.12.2.16 on server and JACE with patch for NCCB 611051. Alright, boss, roll up those sleeves and park that compressed air supercharged Impala with its slammed airbag suspension right in the pit lane cause we're about to diagnose this Niagara network point update stall like a pro. JJ boss style, with the 4 chicas riding shotgun, ready to lay down the nitrous of knowledge. The scene, servers not updating certain points from JACE in Niagara 4.12.2.16. One AHU points froze up like a clutch at a burnout contest. Reboot JACE boom, updates flow. Restart supervisor boom, updates flow. But why the hiccup? And should you roll back the supervisor to an earlier version? Let's break it down. Meet the crew in the compressed air supercharger Impala. Tina torque front left, compressed air control valve. She's the boss of communication pressure. If the signal ain't flowing right from JACE to supervisor, she's the first to feel it. Tina says, if the air lines get kinked or valves stuck, your updates get choked off. Lola logs back left, airbag suspension sensor pod. She keeps the smooth ride on this bumpy network highway. Lola's watching those trace logs like a hawk, and if there's no error in the logs, she's saying, no red flags. Time to dig deeper into the suspension settings. Roxy runtime front right, nitrous control switch. She's the trigger for refresh and restart. Hitting that reboot button on JACE or supervisor is her way of repressurizing the system when the airflow stalls. Roxy's yelling, sometimes you gotta dump the airbag pressure and reinflate. Reboots that dump valve. Carmen code back right, data injector and airflow scanner. She's watching data packets like a sniper scanning the air. She knows that Niagara versions can be finicky like a worn-out air compressor. Sometimes a patch fixes one leak but causes another. Carmen warns, patches like NCCB 61105 can help, but if the compressor's got a crack, rolling back might seal the leak. What's up with those points not updating? Airbag suspension leak, network glitch or stall. Just like a leaky airbag makes your Impala sag and bounce, a hiccup in network communication between JACE and supervisor can freeze updates. But no trace log error means the system's holding pressure just not flowing right. Compressed air supercharger stumble. Software patch trouble? Your Niagara 4.12.2.16 with NCCB 61105 patch is the supercharger mod. It boosts performance but sometimes throws a sneaky valve misfire. If points freeze up, it might be this patch causing erratic airflow. Reboot and restart the airbag dump valve. Reset when you reboot JACE or restart supervisor, it's like dumping the airbag pressure and hitting the boost valve again, restoring the flow. Good short-term fix, but you want a smooth ride, not constant popping. JJ's supercharged tune-up tips: check network stability, Make sure no broken hoses, network cables, or weak compressors, switches, are strangling your airflow. Monitor logs more deeply. Lola says, turn up the verbosity. Sometimes basic logs hide the squeaky valve noises. Enable debug trace for network and update points. Patch or rollback. If NCCB61105 patch is suspect, test a rollback on a staging rig, boss. Carmen says, don't jump off the cliff without a parachute. Validate before rolling back. Live. Update Niagara JACE and Supervisor together. Mismatch is like running a supercharger with different sized pulleys, can cause lag or stall. Keep those versions synced tight. Schedule a controlled reboot during low load. Airbags don't like sudden drops. Planned reboots keep the suspension happy and points updating smooth. Final lap wisdom from the pit crew. Tina Torque, pressure's gotta flow clean and steady, no leaks, no surprises. Lola logs, if it ain't logged, it might still be heard. Crank the volume on those trace logs. Roxy runtime, reboot ain't a cure, it's a quick burst of NOS. Find the leak. Carmen code, patches can fix or fracture. Roll carefully, boss. So there you have it, boss. The Niagara network point stall is a busted valve or kinked hose in your compressed air system? 2. Absolutely, boss. Here comes the Wonderland version. Down the rabbit hole we go with Alice and all her quirky friends taking over that compressed air supercharged Impala with the airbag suspension, and a little chaotic fun on the side. Ready? Let's tumble. Once upon a jumbled network in Niagara land. One bright and curious morning, Alice found herself staring at her big shiny Niagara machine, but oh no. Some magical points from the JACE just stopped updating, like a grumpy Cheshire cat refusing to smile. One ahoo, that's a big noisy fan thingy, was frozen still, like the white rabbit caught in a jam. Alice scratched her head. Why, oh why, won't these points dance on my screen? She poked the JACE and poof. Rebooted it, and suddenly the points wiggled and jiggled again like they'd been tickled by the Mad Hatter's feather duster. Try restarting the supervisor, said the Dormouse sleepily, and when Alice did, bam! Points started updating once more. But this mystery wasn't over yet. Meet the Wonderland crew riding the Impala's magical compressed air supercharger and airbag suspension. Tina Torque, the Queen of Hearts valve's front left seat. She's the no-nonsense valve boss, bossing the air and messages between JACE and supervisor. Tina snapped, if the air hoses kink or the valves freeze, no wonder the points get stuck. Off with those leaks. Lola logs, the Cheshire cat of the back left. She's invisible sometimes but always watching, her grin wide as she spies through the trace logs. No error flags, eh? Then it's deeper magic time to poke the suspension sensors, she purred mysteriously. Roxy runtime, the Mad Hatter's reboot button front right. She twirls her teacup and giggles, when the airbag deflates and the supercharger sputters. I hit the big red reboot hat. That resets the whole game, but it's only a quick trick, not a forever fix. Carmen code, the white rabbit with the stopwatch back right. She's jittery and alert, scanning packets and patches. That NCCB61105 patch. Like a tricky potion, fixes one problem but might cause another. Sometimes you need to undo the spell, but carefully, or you'll tumble down another hole. What's going on in this Wonderland network? Airbag leak in the suspender bumper? Like a sad, saggy airbag making the Impala bounce all wrong, a network hiccup makes points freeze. No red flags in the logs means the system's holding its breath but can't quite blow the air through. Supercharger patch gone mad. The Niagara patch is supposed to boost power, but sometimes it blows a valve funny. The points freeze like the March hare stuck in a teacup swirl. Reboot the magical airbag inflate. Restarting the JACE or supervisor is like pumping the airbags back up or giving the supercharger a fresh puff of air. The ride feels smooth again, but only for a little while. Alice's magical fix-it list: check your air hoses, network cables. Make sure no kinks or breaks. A broken hose means no airflow and no updates. Ask Lola to turn up her logging whisper. If you can't hear the squeaks, crank the logs to debug and catch those sneaky glitches. Potion patch or rollback. Test the patch in a magic mirror, staging area, first. Carmen warns, don't jump off the rabbit hole without your umbrella. Keep JACE and Supervisor in sync. Like matching your tea party hats, both versions need to fit or the magic stutters. Plan your reboots like a mad tea party. Sudden drops scare the airbag, plan them when the party's calm. Final Wonderland wisdom from the Chicas, Tina Torque, air must flow smooth, no leaks or spikes like the Queen's croquet game. Lola logs, if you don't see trouble, turn up your magical ears, logs never lie. Roxy runtime, reboots are tricks, not cures, find the root of the spell. Carmen code, patches can be potions or poisons, test before you trust. And with a merry twirl and a tip of her hat, Alice declared, let's pop the hood and air it out. This Impala will purr like a Cheshire cat soon enough. So there you have it, Boss Wonderland style. The network's just a bit of